I definitely understand and I've been in that position. But when it comes to having a woman that I report to, I'm less offended. I know when I'm reporting directly to a man. In the most recent years, I've been like, yo, like, you're not gonna take my ideas. I've been able to articulate more vocally with a woman, like, okay, I understand that you have to say certain things, and I've said, okay, so if you're going to present this, I think even if it's a woman who is of a different race, she's able to say, you know, well, Latoya came up. Y'all know my real name? Yes, y'all do.
If you don't know, now you know, nigga.
Latoya came up with XYZ. I think this is something that we can bring forth. And it's important. Men are really good with that. And y'all know, I mean, I don't know if y'all picked up on this from the first few episodes, but I'm not really comfortable with passing blame or calling someone out on something that makes anyone look negative. Like, I try to take a step back and rationalize why someone would act in a certain way, even if it is a space that I wouldn't act that way. If I'm like, yo, I would never fucking do that.
Right.
I can understand from that person's how they are and how they navigate in life, why that would be their default or why that would be the most comfortable space for them to react in. It doesn't make it right, but I get it. And I could be like, boom, I get it. And I'm going to tell you why that kind of fucked up our relationship. Don't do it again, but I get why you did it.
Right.
So in my most recent space where I'm transitioning out of, I came on under a man, and then we hired a woman who ended up being the person that I reported to. Both of those individuals have completely different personalities than I have. But some good advice that I got from my now ex-sister-in-law, it was that you have to manage up. Right? So even the folks who you report to, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know how to manage you. So you have to say, okay, this is what works best for me.
Right.
And sometimes you have to kind of steer them in the right way, like sheep.
Right.
Like, come on, let's go this way.
Right, but then
we're going to go this way.
I see that, and I get that because I've learned that from previous managers, and I've had that conversation. I've had managers who are like, you know, I heard you come from such and such, and this is the reputation I get from you, from others. I'm telling you how I am. And this is what works best for me. But what hurt more, it was just like, yes, he was a male, but he was a black male. And that's why I'm like, bro, you really gonna do that? I'm like, come on. It's like I said before in the other episodes, it's the UN nations in our office. But we were the only two black people. I'm now the only black person. But I'm like, you really did that. And I'm like, zero credit. And again, I had to take into account for his personality aside. I had to look at him without color. That's just his personality. But then when I'm like, when it comes down to certain situations and we know how corporations can be, we have to, when you're the only, I can look at you and say, you're the only black person, we have to kind of be like, I got you. You didn't do that. And that's why I think that's why I took back. I was like, dang, you really... My brother, you really did that though.
So like, were y'all on the same level? Like,
no, he was my manager. Okay. So we weren't on the same level in that aspect. But everything as far as what he was able to do in his job came from our work. Without us doing our job, he would have no job.
So I'll say this. Some folks have a very, team mentality. Like, if you're working under me, the work that you do is they're expecting me to present it as my work because you work under me. It depends on the industry and the culture of the particular company you're in. So he may have come from a different type of culture before he got there, but also that may be the directives that he's getting from his higher ups to say whatever they do under you, that's you, because they're expecting that. So I don't.
That sounds good, but I know his personality.
I understand, but
that wasn't it. That
was selfish. I'm always trying to rationalize why somebody is moving how they moving. And that's why I'm seldom offended. Besides homegirl who tried me again, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
I think it's hard though, right? Because I think you are spot on when you say that it's different industries. But I think our industries are pretty closely related, and that's generally not the consensus.
Yeah.
So I think that's the nature of the beast in some corporations. But as a whole in the industry, even though we're a team, we are a team, one voice. Like
one man, one
sound. Right.
Have one voice, but we give credit where credit's due.
Right.
So I can tell you, like, my manager now, even when we're together in just like a networking type of setting, she doesn't say, "Oh, I'm Shanice's manager." She says, "Shanice, I work with Shanice." That speaks volumes to me about her as a person and her character.
Yeah.
She's not into this hierarchy bullshit. To me, it's complete bullshit. This is not a pissing contest.
It is.
What are we doing here? We all are looking to get to the same end goal. We don't need to worry about who's where. Your check tells you that. Your check tells you exactly where you fall.
Right.
So just relax, simmer down a little bit, and like let your people shine. Don't try to take away from what they're doing. Don't try to diminish them. There's actually this book that one of our executives asked us to read, and it's called Multipliers. And it talks about how people managers can either be diminishers, so they can constantly kind of pull away from their people, or they can multiply their excellence. Like, you can send someone into being exponentially better at their job because you are altering the way in which you manage them. Like, you are doing what a manager should be doing. And actually, one of the companies that I worked at, all of the managers were called coaches.
I like that.
And that's a dope ass concept.
Yeah, like that.
Because you are here to coach people along and bring them up, not manage. Anyone can manage people.
Like I said, I don't have a boss.
You can manage groceries. You can manage anything.
I like that.
But like coaching people along, it takes some type of level of skill and communication. There's just so much more that goes into it. So, I mean, his way is, you should never want to take credit for something.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have to take credit for someone else's work, you're not really that good.
Right.
No.
It's exhibiting, it's pronouncing your incompetency. Like, you aren't able to do this by yourself.
Right.
So I definitely agree with that. Another question, thank you for that. Another question is, during your performance reviews, do you articulate, like, okay, can I please have, like, transparent, unbiased, just let me know what you feel about me and how you see me actually as a person who contributes to this organization moving forward in this organization? And do you actually see me as a contributing member of my department? And oftentimes we don't know the full scope of the organization's full trajectory.
Right.
What's next?
Right.
Unless we ask. And generally when we ask, they give us like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to meet and see.
Yeah. I asked specifically, like, how quickly are we looking to grow? Where are we going next? This, that, and other. So when you ask for that type of critique about your performance, how often are you met with, "You're doing great"? All right, give me a little bit more, my G. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Right. Like, great, I'm doing great. Also, I'm doing great as a parent, I know. But I also know if my kids would want me to do something better, it'd be like, yo, my mom be tripping. And I wish she would chill the fuck in this area, that area. Right. So, something that I'm really good at saying in my interpersonal relationships is, kick it to me how you would kick it to your homies. So when my most recent place, there's no structure for evaluations. So I said, no, y'all need to give me an evaluation. Like, I'm asking for an evaluation. And I need you to, whatever you're saying about me to other folks, say it to me.
Right. And document it.
I got super thick skin. And you might not understand it because I look, relatively young and I look so soft and docile. Or whatever the hell y'all weirdos like. like
cute, y'all.
Yeah.
But I'm a whole nigga. Like, don't don't fucking play. I'm sorry. Like, dead ass. So, I'm not from New York. I'm from Philly. Like, for real.
She gonna drop a joint on y'all. It's cool.
I will.
She dropping a joint now.
But I'm serious. So, it's a thing where I would prefer to be confrontational than to be a person who doesn't know what's going on. So it doesn't have to be a combative confrontational, but like, let me know what my shortcomings are that you know, even if you're not saying it to other leadership counterparts, that you might go home to your spouse and be like, oh, that darn Latoya didn't do whatever.
Gosh, I can't.
God, whatever the fuck it is. Let me know so I can do better. So have you ever come across that where they kind of gave you like a soft, well, I think you could grow here. I think you could expand in this area. But you like, yo, give it to me raw. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. One time my review was 2 sentences. Absolutely not. Two. Sir, what am I supposed to do with this? There is nothing tangible here. You are doing, not even yourself, you're doing me a disservice. If there are things that I'm doing great, please write them down. Write them down. And if there are things that I could do better, you also need to write them down. How am I supposed to improve as a person and as a worker if I don't know that information? And I'm not going to say, I mean, I'm a pretty great employee. However, there are always areas of opportunity. Right. Or you could even if you didn't see enough to feel like there were areas of opportunity, what are stretch goals? What are some things that are in this role that could push me to get to the next one? What are some things that you are doing that I could alleviate and take off of your plate so that it could push me to get to the next level?
That's the part.
So to me, it's so problematic because I know I didn't write 2 sentences. I write paragraphs, okay? I didn't come to play with y'all. Because I know when the next person picks this up and reads it, I want them to know, they are going to know what I did from January to October when it's time for this to be turned in. Right. It's not something that I take lightly. And to me, if it's not on paper, it didn't happen. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to write everything. And for you to just make this a trivial, menial exercise and give me 2 sentences, well, clearly you think that this is a game. Right. And I honestly feel like, well, I need to be writing a performance evaluation on you. Yeah. Because
you tripping, you slacking.
Yes. You're not doing your job. Right. Yeah. You're not upholding the standard. And who thinks this is appropriate? Not me. Not me.
I like that approach.
So, no. Unfortunately, I have experienced it. But it's almost the same as receiving a bad review. This person doesn't take it serious. They don't care.
I'm asking, you know this is a part of your job to review my performance.
Yes.
And even in situations where maybe that doesn't fall under your purview of duties and it isn't, scripted out, I'm asking you, like, so what's up? Like, let me know something. Right. Let me know something.
Completely.
So I can do better.
So I can move on.
Right.
One of the practices that is kind of like an unspoken thing that happens at a lot of institutions, which I don't know why it's so secretive. They stack rank us, right? So they take all of the people at your same level and they kind of do a 1, 2, 3 in order of best to worst. How am I supposed to get to the best when you're putting 2 sentences on my paper?
Absolutely.
And are you doing 2 sentences for everyone? Or what I take as 2 sentences is you felt as though I didn't do anything memorable for you to write down anything in additional.
Correct. And I know I did. Don't play with me.
So if my version of memorable isn't your version of memorable, how can we make our versions of memorable be the same? Or how can I for me personally,
with me,
my personality, how can I see your version of memorable, nigga? Because that's how I receive love.
What I will say about the one that I was talking about that took credit, he did give me feedback where it was so hypocritical. I want you to, use your background and your history to, help out the department. I did and took credit, but whatever. But what I will say is on a monthly basis, he had what was called like a 2020, like your vision. Right. What do you see? So every time I did something for that whole entire month, from the 1st to whether it was the 30th or 31st or the 29th, because it's leap year, I was able to write down everything I did and I would send it to him. So not only am I documenting it, save it in my file. So when it comes time for that yearly review, you're not giving me 2 sentences because I gave it to you for at least 10 months.
Right.
So at least give me 10 sentences.
Correct.
So that way you know everything that I did. Well, it could be something small like I stayed later to help you and assist with this meeting so we can have the files done such and such. It could be something so minute like, oh, I provided extra coverage, whatever. But that's on there. So, and I had that conversation of, again, I don't know how you coming in. I don't know how you do it. But I'm going to send you information of what I have done to make it easier for me because I can't remember 10 months worth of shit that I do.